Ok. Battete colpi se mi vedete. Battete tutte cose. Ai ai. Scrivete colpo in chat se mi vedete di nuovo. Mio Dio, ragazzi. Quanta pazienza ci vuole. Quanta pazienza. È scritto lì ma non mi appare qua. Apparirà. Perfetto. Scrivete un po' di cose così so che siete tornati. No, ma non è la banda, non è la banda, Evi. È proprio Vodafone del cazzo, non c'entra niente. Cioè, letteralmente si stacca anche se non stai facendo nulla. Proprio... È proprio semplicemente il sistema che è una merda. Proprio solo quello. Vabbè, continuiamo. Stavano parlando del 787.
And 787 certainly fits into the discussion. You know, that's that would certainly fit neatly into our bailiwick. Let's see here.
Ok, niente di che. Pensavo meglio.
Jet Delta wants to know if the fly-by-wire trim system of the 777 will work. Well, yeah, the whole airplane is flown by trim essentially. I'm oversimplifying that, but yes, the whole fly-by-wire system is simulated.
Bueno.
Let me see here. Evan Blakeman wants to know, does the gear tilt work? Yes, the gear tilt works. And Evan, I'm going to assume that you and I know more about the gear tilt than the average 777 observer. So let me talk about that for a moment. On the W, which is the first one that's coming, that landing gear is cantilevered, which means that it has a locking strut that holds that gear from being able to pivot on rotation. And essentially what it does is it causes the airplane to sort of rock up on its heels on those rear wheels. And in doing so, the airplane gains a 9.5 inches of additional clearance underneath the tail skid, which allows the airplane to have just slightly more pitch on rotation, which means greater lift, which means the airplane can get off the runway more quickly, which means shorter balanced field length, which means greater utility for the airline. That's why they put the energy into that. Our 777 has that. Our 777 has had that for 12 years, but it does have that in Microsoft Flight Simulator as well. Also, the gear does have it's actively actuated prior to rotation. So if you watch, if you go and airline videos live, one of my favorite things to have on the TV here in the office while I'm working. If you watch a 777 on their live stream, you'll notice that the gear truck tends to articulate right before the gears start to come up, and that's in order to get the gear in position so that they can fold neatly up into the belly of the airplane. If you go into alternate gear mode, which you can do on our 777, you go into alternate gear mode, you lose all the hydraulic pressure to that, so that truck does not articulate. So there's a whole bunch of nerdiness that we've built into there. But
bello.
Long answer to a short question, yes. Let's see here. Caleb wants to know when the 737 MAX releases. Caleb, when this is over, go back and scroll back to the beginning. We covered that earlier. Let me see here. Sauce wants to know if it will have a heads up display option. You know, that floats up into conversations that we have.
Non penso che ce l'abbia il 777.
My knowledge of that is that the 777 is only certificated to use the heads up if you have a very specific installation and you've got the STC from the company that designed it. So we don't have the data for it at this point, and it would probably cost us, I don't know, I can't even imagine what they charge for that STC. But I know FedEx uses them. I've got some friends at FedEx. Maybe it's something we do in the future. I don't know, but it's not currently at the airplane. All right. Question about will the wipers clear rain? We talk about that fairly regularly. The first airplane we developed active wipers in was back in 2009. And what we found was that it was just it's kind of a miserable, it's a fiddly system. It winds up not working that well. We've looked at just doing a single layer overlay where there's either, it's either clear or it's not. we talked to Asobo about that some time ago, and they told us that they have an active wiper system that's in development for the platform. So we opted to just wait until they do that, because the issue for us is we're a small
per far
company,
wiperare i wipers andranno a utilizzare il sistema di Asobo, che sarà un sistema fatto apposta. Notte Nicola, un bacione, alla prossima.
I guarantee you the day we finish that would be the day that Asobo would roll that out into the platform, and the whole effort would be for waste. So we keep our development focused on things that we know will be beneficial. All right.
È giusto, sono d'accordo.
Let me see here. J2 Tango wants to know if PMDG will ever venture into the Airbus fleet. Hey, it's an airplane. We develop airplanes. Never say never.
Oh mio Dio.
All right. Let's see here.
Non fate anche voi il 330, vi prego, vi scongiuro.
Wants to know when the weather radar will work. So, this is always a favorite one. If you've ever worked with actual weather radar works, if you picture shooting an ice cream cone shaped beam of energy out in front of you, and then you can move it up and down, left and right, point it around. It gives you sort of a single viewpoint of what you're looking at, and there's a real skill set to being able to do that manually. With modern radar, all of that's automated. It only shows you the things that it thinks you need to know based on data processing, which makes it wonderful. What we need to do in order to be able to give you real accurate weather radar is three-dimensional precipitation definition within the simulator. It doesn't currently have that. So all the weather radars you find out there right now are basically just cloud detectors. They're giving you either a single layer, which is not realistic.
Comunque è molto probabile che l'aeroplano che stanno sviluppando sia un Airbus. Molto probabile che sia un Airbus. Ho paura che sia un Airbus.
Now, but you just get this like top-down view. Not very useful. So could we turn that
su
on?
WhatsApp.
Maybe we have. So you'll have to get the 777 and take a look. But as for actual functioning weather radar,
bel 340 è l'unico che manca.
Until we get three-dimensionally defined weather data, that's not going to happen. All right. So let's see here. So we've been at this for almost 45 minutes. And if I actually wanted to go back and answer every question you guys have asked, this would probably take about 20 hours.
Deve essere 20.
Let's see here. So Captain Shaquille wants to know if the lovely Dr.
Airbus da loro deve essere un 320. 340 ha fatto il 320, sono d'accordo, esatto.
She is a social psychologist. She specializes in the detection of deception. She has quite a background, and I love to brag about her. And I'm going to get the dagger eyes here in a moment. But she probably the world's preeminent expert in the prevention of targeted violence. So, if I get permission, I'll tell you more about her later. All right. Let's see here.
Sì, puoi dirlo.
Wedio wants to know about automatic step climbs. Yep, that's in there as well. You really need that for long haul stuff. If you're like me and you like to get the airplane up to cruise and then go to bed and come back and land, which contrary to what some people will tell you I don't do in the real world, maybe. Anyway, but yes, auto step climbs is there. So let's see here.
Mandiamo lui l'HK3F.
3 more questions and we're going to call it a night.
HK3F della PMDG farebbe ridere.
One question, will you announce a new project at FS Weekend? The answer to that question is no, we will not. We've learned our lesson from telling you guys about things we were working on well before they were close to release, and there's a whole bunch of reasons why that turned into a bad idea.
L'ha spoilerato Nico su Instagram.
Competitive structure, things of that nature. So we're playing things close to the vest. We've got actually a whole bunch of stuff going on. Some of you may not have seen, as we've talked about it, that the team has actually expanded dramatically over the past 14 months, and there may be a little bit more expansion still to go. But the whole goal in the expansion was to expand what we're capable of doing, how much we're capable of doing. We were just finding that we were just getting very slow, and it was very hard for us to get things done in a time frame that seemed logical. So there's been a lot of expansion, which has fundamentally changed my job. I spend a lot more time managing the corporation and the team.
Stanno ingrandendo il team di
but
PMDG,
my
questo è
my
buono.
heart's still in coding, so I still get to do a whole lot of that as well. All right. Somebody wants to know, with the advancements made on the 777, if there'll be a 737 version 2. There won't, with a little asterisk. There won't, because our development philosophy is that we will roll those changes backward into the NG, so that you will actually see some of those improvements, and you already have. We made some discoveries on some memory management issues with the 777, where TCAS was creating some problems. It was getting flooded with data targets and then causing the
Miglioreranno anche il
implode.
73.
We discovered that in the 777, and we immediately rolled it back into the 737. So, for example, that's an example of how that works. But development that we're doing in the flight tablet, for example, is going to be rolled back into the 737.
Buono.
This is a
metteranno quella roba su
free answer,
73.
because someone's going to wonder about this. When will that happen? It'll happen after the W releases. Right now, we've got the whole team really zeroed in on getting the W wrapped up. So then we'll start rolling that stuff back into the 737. All right, last question for the evening, and we're going to call it a night. Or for some of you, morning or afternoon, wherever you happen to be. But
Notte.
all right, let me see here.
Quella notizia che dovevi dirvi, vedete in caso di no, io lo so per caso, perché che dico cose, scrivimi su WhatsApp sempre di cosa parli.
You guys are busy. All right, so
Vediamo come ultima domanda cosa tira fuori.
So some of these questions are hilarious. All right, let's see here. Oh, there we go. All right, there's one that we want to answer. I didn't see your name, and it's already scrolled by. But one of you asked, when will the tablet be available in the 737 on Xbox? And the answer to that question is any day now. We have uploaded the changes to Microsoft
Sta arrivando il
so
tablet
it's
su
going through
737.
intake at Microsoft right now. So as
Arriverà
soon as they get it through intake, they'll push it out, and you'll see it as an update. It's taken some time to kind of work through some blockers that we ran into. Theoretically, Microsoft Flight Simulator on the PC and on the Xbox are the same. We're finding that might be true for the software, but the hardware creates some difficulties. So we had a lot of problems with keyboard data entry. So if you want to use the tablet on the Xbox, you will need to have a physical keyboard attached to that Xbox, whether it's Bluetooth or plug-in connection, depending on your hardware. But you will need to have an actual keyboard. But if you do, you'll have full access to everything inside the tablet, and you'll be off and running. All right, we're going to call it a night. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on. This was a sort of an experiment. I hope you think it was a success. We tend to push information out to you via our forum. Yes, I am the guy that writes all the big long things that get posted to the top of the forum. And a lot of you have asked if we would kind of step out from behind that forum a little bit to get to engage with you more directly. So this is an effort to do that. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, let us know. Maybe we'll do it again here real soon. We're going to be pushing a bunch of little videos out. I've got an idea for some shorts that we want to do, leveraging YouTube a little bit, just to kind of show you some little bite-sized bits, like 20, 30 seconds at a time of some cool things on the 777. So be watching for those. For those of you who are going to FS Weekend, have a good time. When you get there, tell Mateus that since he wasn't here to tell us we couldn't do this, we did it anyway, and we had a good time doing it. All right, everybody, thank you very much. Have a very good night. Have a very good weekend. The 777W is on its way, and you'll have it soon enough. Promise. All right.
Ciao, bro.
Good night.
Buonanotte. è diventata notte intanto anche qua. Bene ragazzi, bene, abbiamo un sacco di informazioni direi. Madonna, queste live di oggi mi stanno uccidendo. Siamo quasi a 5 ore. Comunque, abbiamo un sacco di informazioni direi su cui direi che sappiamo tutto ormai su questo cavolo di aeroplano. Sono molto contento, sono molto contento. Il 777 è in arrivo. Entro 2 mesi ce l'avremo nei nostri PC. Vi aggiornerò, ci aggiorneremo. E niente, vado a dormire che domani ho un treno per andare a Torino. Quindi vi mando un enorme bacione. Fate i bravi, mi raccomando. Vi voglio bene. Passate uno splendido weekend. Passate uno splendido venerdì. Fate i bravi. Buonanotte, raga. Whee!